In the far-off 32nd century, Starfleet Academy has reopened for business. We're going to meet the teachers and the cadets, and we've got questions.
That's right, John. Like, will the Federation return to its glory days before the burn? Will these young star-crossed lovers ever see eye to eye? And what exactly does the mating ritual between a Klingon and a Jem'Hadar look like?
Well, we're talking about the premiere of Starfleet Academy, Episode 1, Kids These Days, and Episode 2, Beta Test. Get out of bed, cadets. It's time to go to school. Welcome to Mission Log Reactor, everybody. I'm John Champion.
I'm Jessica Lynn Verdi.
And you beta, you bet. This is Mission Log Reactor, our first blush breakdown of Starfleet Academy, Episode 1, Kids These Days, and Episode 2, Beta Test.
Mission Log Reactor is a brand new series, and what we can't wait to do is share your thoughts and comments. But we can't really do that because this is the premiere of the series.
So if you want to share your thoughts with us, you can email us, you can leave a comment, but better yet, talk back to me and Jessica live Monday nights at 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 Eastern at patreon.com/missionlog to discuss each week's episode and share those burning thoughts with us. It is completely free, and we might just air your comments right here next week. And don't forget, Patreon subscribers get this video a day early.
If your burning continues longer than a day, you should talk to the doctor. However, I'm sure the teens in this show or the youngins are going to have a lot to talk to the doctor.
Oh, they've got a good doctor to go to, fortunately.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, but he'll shame them all the way to the bank.
That's the beauty of it.
So Starfleet Academy has officially debuted this week with episodes 1 and 2. We meet our cast of characters. We figure out what kind of happened to the galaxy after the burn. And boy, do we relive our awkward teen years, whether you wanted to or not. So we're going to walk through Kids These Days together, section by section. And remember, this is Spoiler City. So if you haven't watched episode 1 of Star Trek Starfleet Academy, press pause now and watch it and come back, because you can't get mad at us. We told you there's spoilers. Okay? Spoilers in 3, 2, 1. You've been warned.
All right, let's walk through it together. Let's talk about Kids These Days. We open up on Picaro, aka Space Jail. We open up in that jail with what wants to be a very tender scene. It's a mother telling her young son that everything will be okay. Narrator voice, they won't be okay, because she's in trouble with the law thanks to Noose Braca, a Klingon Tellarite hybrid who has gone full Jean Valjean, at least in his own mind, stealing food for a starving woman and her child. Unfortunately, someone died in the process. Braca gets life in prison. The mother receives a lesser sentence, and her son Caleb is declared a ward of the state.
Oh, you are already throwing some shade, John, at saying it wants to be a tender scene.
Yeah, well, it opens up with this nice, starscape, and it's very pretty, and the lighting is nice. Like, we're gonna be fine, son.
No, oh, okay. I thought you were saying like it's supposed to be tender between mom and son. Fail.
No.
Just like by the cinematography or the act. No, I was actually just so excited that it was Tatiana. I didn't know she was in this in any way, shape, or form, and I'm like, she's the coolest girl in sci-fi right now, I think.
Yeah. Well, there are all kinds of wonderful casting surprises and casting triumphs so far. So we'll get into that for sure. A question: as soon as we have that sort of trial moment, why do you have Mom and Caleb and Braca just in the same room hanging out with Holly Hunter?
Oh, it's the worst. It makes me so angry. I know that just for time, right? They're like, we'll just put them together. And maybe you can argue that Starfleet's low on resources. It's the worst choice. It's worse than separating them, the kid and the mom. Right. It's let's damn this guy to hell. And we're going to be here and he can yell at you when he's done.
Oh.
have we seen Pikaru before? Is that new to
I
us?
think that's new. And I keep wanting to call it Pikachu, but it is Pikaru. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
It's giving Dune vibes.
It is.
And
It is.
yeah, which I thought was pretty interesting. I think it also helps us feel like how desolate things have been post burn too.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. Having the kid there it was almost enough to make me not want to watch it, but we have to because we're doing this show.
Because here we are. What about
Although that being said, Giamatti is stellar in this. I doubt you have seen the new Minecraft movie.
No, you've not. No.
Okay, failure on your part. Jack Black is 150% balls to the wall the entire time, and Giamatti is 100% giving us that kind of energy in this
See,
performance.
the Giamatti
Right
in
out
my
the gate.
life right now is the American Revolution documentary, the Ken
John
Burns one.
Adams.
So hearing him in that, being a great statesman, is cool. Seeing him in this, where he's so genuinely unhinged, is wonderful, because I feel like people approach sci-fi villains and they think, oh, I just have to crank everything up and act crazy, but he genuinely feels it. It's awesome. Yeah.
It is a lot, and
Yeah.
especially when, like, we get to him a little bit later. I'm gonna do my best not to jump forward,
Sure.
and there's moments where I'm, like, really off put by it, but I think I'm off put by it as the villain,
Yeah.
not as this actor doing it. You're right. There is, like, a commitment here, and he's genuinely terrifying
Yeah.
because of it, I
Yeah.
think.
Exactly. I really love Captain Ake thinking that she can just sweet talk this child, and she gets the hug, but nope, exploding bear wins the day.
Did you see that coming? Because I actually didn't see that coming.
I thought it was great.
I thought, like, okay, you know what? This kid's gonna believe her. It's gonna be very sweet.
Yeah.
I believe her,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
No, but Exploding Bear, definitely won out
Yeah.
for sure.
All right, so let's jump ahead 15 years later,
Sure.
where we go to the Vrillik Penal Colony, aka Space Prison. So Caleb is grown and clearly a problem. So he breaks out of a shuttle that's transporting him to the Vrillik Penal Colony, only to learn that his mother, Anisha, isn't there. Now, almost immediately, he is scooped up by the feds again, and his freedom was so brief. So we cut to the credits, which aren't actually credits. We just get the logo, and I thought some nice looking opening graphics, right?
Yes, beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
But kinda, like, buries the lead on what we actually get for the series opening credits.
Absolutely. We'll come to that in a moment when we do episode 2. Now, we do get to go to Bajor. We get to catch our breath, because on Bajor, we have this nice, gentle moment as Admiral Vance approaches Nala, formerly Captain Ake, about returning to Starfleet to help teach the next generation of cadets. Now, she is resistant, of course. Yeah, I did.
You have to do it, I get it.
Now, Ake, Nala, is still carrying the weight of separating a child from his mother 15 years earlier, but that changes when she learns that Caleb has been found and is now in custody. Their reunion is awkward, it is emotional, it is tense, but Caleb's interest spikes when Ake tells him that Starfleet knows where his mother is. Aha, setting up the big premise here.
Which is, I think we're all bought into that too. I like, we did have to get a lot of exposition early on,
Yeah.
but what I really love about what this series has done already is not give you a biography of what has happened in the burn. We're learning what happened through the relationships instead and how it affected people. And I think it's a really smart way to approach it. I will say I was really confused when Ake says, I've been looking for you for years while I've been teaching kids on Bayshore in this cushy job. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure there was times where she was looking for him. We learned that she, like, left Starfleet because she was so upset by this decision. And
Right.
we get a sense of her morals right away, right? Like, okay, she actually did want to give Caleb his best shot. Whether she could follow through with that or not is another question. And she left because they didn't, she screwed up in so many words.
Mhm.
But she hasn't been looking for him for 15 years.
She
She's
feels
just very
deeply,
on.
but she only has so much time in a day. You know?
Right. You know what? She probably sends out a couple subspace messages here and there,
Right.
and then goes back to work eating whatever that sorbet ice cream looks
Yeah,
like.
harassing little kids about their ice cream. That's that's what she does.
I felt shame in that
You
moment.
should.
But she's such a good motherly person.
Yeah.
It all works so well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get the taste of, we know where mom is. That's going to be enough for him to take the bait for sure.
Look, I love a story that starts in the middle. I really do.
Yeah.
And you
Yep.
just shorthand the things that you need to get there. So I think so far, well played. But let's jump over to the USS Athena. So Caleb is brought aboard the USS Athena, where he and we get the full tour. This is a pilot episode, after all. Now, this is our introduction to the ship and the setting and pretty much everyone that we're going to be spending time with this season. Now, that tour is led by Laura Thok. And I want to tell you, I am immediately in love with this presence. There is,
I think those that know me know that I love Bones. They know I love Badgie. The cetacean ops. Laura must be up there now. I
yeah.
think I have. She like shot past everybody.
Laura
Holy
Thok
moly!
starts at 11 and just
Yeah,
keeps going from there. Yeah.
and she's like the hard ass that she's allowed to be.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we like, it's not the millennial approach to like being gentle with your kids anymore, but
No.
because of her DNA, she's allowed to
Yeah.
be crazy. And I was bought in from this moment, honestly, up until this like a 15-minute mark before we meet Laura or whatever. I didn't know how I felt. And then she comes in and I was in 110%.
You're like, yeah, more of this, please.
Oh, 100%.
All right. So on board, every species, every personality type, and Starfleet archetype is represented, including our familiar holographic doctor. Welcome back. I wonder if he's still going by Joe. Maybe we'll find out later. Now, the Athena sets course for Earth, Starfleet Academy in San Francisco, which cues up the obligatory but earnest captain's speech.
Yeah, she is such a confident actor, woman, captain. And that allows her to be really casual. And I'm curious, what do you think about casual captain?
Yeah. Well, look, I was completely
Chancellor, I
charmed.
should say.
I was completely charmed by the moment of her adjusting the seat height. And then we cut back to her and she's just kind of curled up in it, hanging out, really making the space her own. And keep in mind, this is the second, only the second of the two Lanthanites that we have met in all of Star Trek, the other one being Carol Kane as Pelia in Strange New Worlds. So they have a wide open area to explore and make this species what they want it to be. The version that we get from Pelia is very quirky, very over the top, very chaotic. Holly Hunter's version as Ake, a little less chaotic, but really fun. And I like that she just feels natural in that world.
Like, what would a person who can live up to 500 years, 1,000 years, and again, she's half of this species. So whatever, they think it's thousands, or maybe they're immortal. We're not quite sure. This is a really good example of how we're not rewriting we're not saying what happened in Discovery didn't happen.
Right.
But we're going, what's a different way we can explore these characters? The theme early on comes out for me when Ake talks to Caleb and just flat out point blank says, "I'm sorry." And even the Admiral did that. Like, hey, we made a mistake with how we handled that. And I love that so much. That there's no more emotional intelligence than being able to say, "I'm sorry," and admitting your mistake and doing your best to make up for it. And I think they're integrating these things we've learned about in Discovery and Strange New Worlds slowly and going, let's fill it out and not beat you over the head with all these new things.
And we're going to get more of that in the next episode, and I'm sure on and on after that. But I really like the speechifying. It just feels right to have that in Star Trek. Now, I have to ask here, there's a lot of canon diving that goes on in all of Star Trek anyway, but we have the big wall of fame.
Oh, you mean the thing I pressed pause on and looked at to see who was in there?
Yes. Okay, I did too. But here's the thing. I feel like it's just sort of to hit you over the head in the audience to say, yeah, we remember these characters too. Here's Harry Kim, and everybody gets to be an admiral now.
I actually didn't see Harry Kim. Was he there?
Yeah, he's in it.
I looked.
Yeah.
I didn't. Was he still an ensign?
No, he's an admiral or something. I
Okay, I
mean,
don't all right.
yeah. I just I want the universe to be big for Star Trek. I don't want it always to just be the characters that we know. And I know that this is a real double-edged sword. It's like you have to honor and respect the legacy. You have to acknowledge what came before. But please, can we just kind of I think having a building named for Kirk, which we get to in the next episode, fine. But
Yes.
when we keep coming back to this wall and it's like, yeah, everybody's there. Even Yeoman Rand, who I think is an
Right.
admiral or commander or something.
That was the first one I saw. I was like,
Right.
what is Janice doing
Yeah,
here?" But but good for her. I mean, I know that we also watch them, like, graduate through the movies too.
sure,
It's fan service. If they didn't have them there, you'd get the people yelling on the internet that they completely erased the history. I'm
sure.
with you on both counts. I think it's a subtle enough way to go, "We recognize where we came from. We're moving forward
Yeah,
with the backdrop of these people."
yeah. All right.
But I'm with you. It's a double-edged sword for sure.
Fair enough. Well, let's continue en route on the USS Athena. So, as the ship travels, cadets begin choosing their electives, and nobody signs up for the Doctor's Opera Society except Sam. She's
Hold
an,
on, we love her, and we're gonna go back, but I
yeah,
also love that the second Caleb walks through whatever portal, his hair is cut and his
yes,
uniform's on.
so cool.
It is
So,
actually one of the that's kinda bought me in right before we met Laura,
yeah,
because I was like, "Yeah,
yeah.
it's so great."
Too bad, kid. No
Yeah,
choice.
it was so funny, but,
So,
right, so we see Sam,
yeah,
who
Sam,
is
she's such an earnest holographic student. And meanwhile, Caleb
so
hacks into a
uncomfortable.
computer system trying to connect to his mother, but he gets nothing. And then the Athena is attacked and the ship is slammed repeatedly. Chaos breaks out and a strange barrier begins to surround it. Now, the cadets are clearly unprepared for any of this. And when communications finally open, the attacker reveals himself to be none other than Nus Braka, the man Ake put in prison 15 years earlier. Mhm.
I tend to have, um the fourth wall is broken for me a little bit when the hologram can walk around anywhere on the ship,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
But you have to have the guy do it because
Yeah.
he's, like, literally playing with his rings the whole time.
Yeah.
He also lets us know that Lieutenant Ya is the hot one on the bridge because he winks and cat calls her, basically.
He's speaking to the John Champion demographic because I completely love Lieutenant Ya. Yes, but yeah,
Wait,
go ahead.
do you think we're gonna see more of her?
Ignore? Are you kidding?
No, are we gonna see more of her?
Oh, we
Because they were
better.
on the
Yeah.
Athena. I
Yeah.
It's very no, I'm very excited for you. She's Noose is all of us, like, walking around the ship.
We are all New Spraka.
We are Noose, but he's so gross,
Yes.
and she's handling it pretty well, I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah.
say Ake is, like, going toe to toe with him.
Yeah, yeah. He is uncontrolled id. But yeah, so I
Mm.
love having Sam as a, by the way, a photonic. So her people are photonics, and we got that word back in Voyager as a way to distinguish the hologram, as a species, honestly, separate from organic. So I thought that was kind of cool. I think Sam is going to be an interesting character to follow and a tough one to follow. But yeah,
Yeah, I was interested when the captain's speech happened, and she said, some of you are new, the first of your species. Some of you are the last. Who's the last? Is there, like, no more planet?" And
right.
so that we
Yeah,
haven't
who
covered
knows?
that ground. I don't know if we will, but when we cut to her, I'm like, "Ooh, what is she?"
Yeah,
And it was very charming to learn that she is just a super eager.
yeah,
Like, and I love too that, like, the doctor wants nothing to do with her,
right.
and but, like, also kinda wants to, but just because they're the same species doesn't mean that they need to
Nothing
gravitate
alike,
towards each other.
which is
Yeah, nothing.
wonderful. But I like, of course, you have to do the bit that he aged himself. Clever,
Yes.
expected. I love that we see an exocomp, and we will see more of an exocomp. The little
Remind me what an exocomp is?
peanut hamper from
Oh,
Lower Decks, the little robotic.
I was just calling them peanut hampers.
just Just a whole species of peanut hamper.
They're peanut hampers. It's the most, it's what is it, like cellar door is the 2 most beautiful words together,
Right.
and peanut hamper is the most, desirable name. I love
Yes.
peanut hamper,
Yes.
and it is cute to see these nods. That's all I mean is, like, you're
Yeah.
seeing, like, they don't need to over explain it.
No, they
If
just
you've seen that
exist.
series, it's there.
They're just there. Yeah, yeah.
I love that.
I think the attack scene is great. The damage feels brutal on the ship, and we got a new band name out of New Spraka, Origami
Yeah?
Chicken.
Oh, origami.
That's
Okay, that's what I'm telling you. He is Jack Black because Jack Black has a song about la 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 lava chicken. It's a
I
whole full
see.
circle moment
I
here.
didn't know that. I had no
I know.
idea.
No, origami chicken was, it seemed like a really dumb metaphor that he just decided to stick to, right? Like, I've
It
never
works. It
no,
works.
it totally does, but I'm with you on the attack scene. It was one of the more riveting attack scenes in recent memory for Star Trek,
Yeah.
for me. And when his ship comes together from in 3 pieces,
Yeah.
there's always a part of me that's like, "How does that work actually?" But you can suspend disbelief that in, 10,000 years from now, a ship can come together in 3 parts and be absolutely terrifying.
Well, and what I like here is that we take a thing that was introduced in Discovery, the programmable matter as a
Right.
concept, right? And yeah, it's just sort of a thing that we go, well, it does magic stuff and you can make consoles out of it and make weapons out of it. But now you're really making it a threat. What if the wrong person has that technology and their whole method of attack is based on that? So it was a nice way to pick up this thread that we have in Disco and use it in this show.
Yeah, I
Um,
love that. That's a really
yeah.
good point.
So let's wrap it up here. The Athena under siege, and Braca threatens Ake via hologram as he was doing. She's stalling for time, and Caleb realizes that the ship isn't just trapped, but it is being absorbed by that programmable matter. Now there is a way to disrupt it, and it's very tech the tech. But Thok is badly injured during this attack. Everyone else is contributing however they can, and that includes Darum, who is the Keonian who can survive a short spacewalk without a helmet. Pretty cool. Braca is fooled just long enough for Caleb after a brutal fight to pull off the solution, and then Braca escapes in a pod, and the Athena finally continues to Earth. Now, Caleb broke the rules by trying to contact his mother on a hacked comm station, but the
Yes.
consequences are going to be light, and instead he is required to stick around and learn a few things under Chancellor Ake's supervision.
I think we're gonna get a lot of this from Caleb. I think
Oh
it's
yeah.
gonna be a lot of, really volatile, testing the boundaries, breaking the boundaries, but however he did that also saved things or worked out in their favor. It's actually very Kirk, right?
Oh yeah.
There's
Yeah.
which is and I think they're earning that in Caleb earnestly. Caleb saved the ship, which is why him breaking into that comms and getting the ship attacked, he didn't get expelled immediately.
Yeah. Well, this is a good contrast because you have somebody like Ake who can bend the rules and make those rules fit what she needs, as opposed to Caleb who needs to learn the rules first in
Yeah.
order to understand how to work them.
Wow, that's
Well,
a very, very astute perspective. I think the thing
that's all
that,
you get
uh
today from me.
okay, bye. We're done, everybody.
Right.
The thing that the one bit I didn't un understand,
Yeah.
why didn't Ake Nala send, like, a security detail toward the warp room?
Yeah. Right.
Like,
Yeah.
listen, there was a way to go, "Hey, just go," and now Caleb's alone with the
Yeah.
villain.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a little like, I think I would have had that one piece of fail-safe. Maybe you can tell us in the comments if I'm not remembering, hey, if Noose got a whiff of somebody running in that direction, it would have all been ruined, but that was
Right.
the one moment where I was like, someone should she's letting a 21-year-old
Yeah.
run to there by himself with no backup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a little
Crazy.
strange. I'm gonna end this episode with something that I don't love, but then something that I do love. The thing that
Okay.
I don't love, I really think Star Trek struggles when it comes to using colorful metaphors, when it comes to swearing. in and amongst our characters. A, it really dates the shows, and B, Star Trek, they're never really speaking colloquial English. It's always a heightened version of the language. And look, I'm no prude. You and I offline, whole,
You
whole
can
other
feel
kind of
the
conversation.
struggle, the tension between the bad words I want to say the entire
Right.
time we're doing this. So,
Exactly. But I think Star Trek tries too hard when it drops in even the mildest of profanity that we have here. So I'm curious to see if they stick with it. Can we just not? Can we just have our characters talk in a more, I guess, Star Trekian way that still is true to the character?
oh, and now I'm thinking that because I actually don't 100% fall on the same page as you. I actually
Yeah.
think it's at least more organic here than we have seen in previous
Oh,
iterations, right?
100%. Yeah.
They have definitely found the balance as
Mhm.
opposed to, yes, you can say the F word,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I wonder if just like how Caleb walked through that door and his hair is cut and his uniform is on, how fun if they had used instead I don't ever want to rewrite a script,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they could have done like the Good Place thing where they're trying to curse, but they can't because they're on campus. That could have been a really fun way to deal with it,
Sure.
I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Now,
Yeah.
what I will say is I like so I the in the minor way I disagree with you is I just think it's kind of working for the most part. It lands for me 70% of the time.
Okay.
What I think my big takeaway from this episode is just how excited I am for these kids to work together.
Yeah.
They're all super bright and it really like I could see the future of them being on a bridge together. And then I'm realizing how great is the Kobayashi Maru episode going to be?
Oh, yeah, and we will get there, we will get there,
We
absolutely.
would have to, right?
Yeah, yeah, agree, I like the mix of characters, I like the tastes that we're getting of them so far. Love, love, love the production design in this first episode. When we end up in
Beautiful.
that Frank Lloyd Wright meets Starfleet, design scheme that is Ake's quarters, Ake's office, oh, I'm so in love with that, absolutely incredible, so, hats off to them.
Wait, you liking mid-century
I
modern
know, it's so
style?
strange. I know, so unlike me, right?
Ooh.
The other thing that I
Well,
love, Stephen Colbert doing the announcements. Absolute
I completely disagree with you.
what? I think it's gold. Hanger
I
is the
know
greatest
it's
enemy of
so
all.
anachronistic, it pulls me out immediately, and the thing is I can't help but feel the political commentary about it,
Mm,
and it made me wonder if they needed that character. Let me think about it this way.
yeah.
Did they realize we need someone doing this continuity voiceover? When Stephen Colbert was essentially fired, did they give it to him then in that moment, or did they
Oh,
add this character or this continuity bridge after when they hired him? I'm just not that I need to figure that out, but I do
sure.
have question marks about it.
That's a very good question. The thing that I like is that I can picture this guy for real sitting in a room somewhere with a microphone, and that is the greatest thrill that he gets all day is making these announcements,
I love
and
that.
thinking he is super funny. Um, I think that is a character who I want to explore. We'll never see him on camera, I'm sure.
We'll
But
never see
yeah.
him. Although, there's a fun way we could because if he is like an AI version of himself,
Oh, yeah.
we could see what he was like in previous Starfleet
Sure.
Academy iterations.
Right.
He Now that you're saying that, it's giving me like the Dean vibes from Community, which if you listen to any of me and Mike Richards talk on our Mission Log the Orville series,
Right.
all we do is talk about Community and the Orville. But yeah, like this, you're so right. It's this guy who thinks he's so funny. And honestly, you're saying the cursing takes it out
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Saying hangry takes it out
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
me.
Again, it's another contemporary word. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's cute and it works to get us from A to B and like bridge the gap from scenes and keep
Sure.
you on continuity. It's just a little like, oh, anyway.
I will say this. I think the score is fantastic. We have references to the motion picture score. We have references to the Wrath of Khan score. So good. We talked about the character mix. I'm down to see so much more. I like having two very different Klingons by having Crag and then having
Yeah.
Thok as our half Klingon, half Jem'Hadar, just being complete opposites. Really interesting. I can't wait to see more out of both of them. And I think this first episode, we drop in some lessons. It's all about the setup, of course. It's all about getting to know the people and the place. But these ideas that, shared purpose, mattering, the misfits, the delinquents who kind of come together, and when pushed, they rise to the occasion. It's obvious stuff, but it works. It serves the purpose of what this episode needs to do.
I think you're totally right. I think they're not giving us all of it. It's a lot to get through. They
Yeah.
could have really been like bogged down by, well, what happened after the burn, and then how come this person's here, yada yada. But they think they just gave us enough actual interpersonal relationship where it works. And I think it's fair to say this first episode completely dispels the theory that this is 9021 Trek, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
feel like I'm watching the OC.
Yeah. Well, okay, but
There's
now,
elements
we
of
have a
it.
second episode to discuss.
Okay, all right.
But no,
All right.
as a standalone pilot, it absolutely blew past my expectations. And I felt like the characters were well defined. I think the sense of place and mission are well defined. It feels like the grown-ups are in the room saying, no, this is what's important for Star Trek. That was really impressive to me. But this week, we have 2 episodes to talk about.
We sure do. So you can't have one without the other. So we're going to get into Beta Test, which
All
is
right.
the second episode to drop at the same time with Starfleet Academy. Are you ready for this?
Yes, let's do it.
Fall semester, baby. We all know this feeling very well. They are now officially at the San Francisco campus.
Mhm.
And we open on Ake's pretty pithy speech, honestly, and made me really annoyed when she's talking about you are the stitches of the fabric of Starfleet and democracy and make your bed. It just like reminded me of my mom telling me to make my bed, and I was very upset about it.
Yeah.
And I loved the cut to Caleb, who is having none of it. Like
Yeah.
he's just because like you we don't know this yet, but we know that obviously their dynamic is mom son to some extent. He's like,
Sure.
God, mom,
Yeah.
and I was so him, and we just get glimpses of what their like school regime is going to be. We get the classic home ec with the doctor where
Yes.
they have to take care of mucus.
Yeah.
We get mythology where the teacher basically threatens to kill them.
Hilarious moment. Yes.
Very hilarious. And
Yeah.
that was a Vulcan, by the way, who
Yeah.
was very logically explaining how toxic manhood at a young
Yeah.
age could be.
But
could be
here's the thing,
dealt with.
played perfectly in character. You know,
100%.
that's something you didn't need to hammer home the joke because the joke just came naturally, you know?
Yeah, I'm completely of the opinion that that's how Vulcans express their emotions is all through shade, and it was done so well in that moment.
Yes.
We get Jim or ROTC with Thok, and it is phenomenal.
Incredible. Yeah.
Death Has Eyes that's my band name.
Yeah, it's good. That's a
Death
great one.
Has Eyes. Gina Yashir actually got her start as a writer for Bob Hart's Abishola, and I got to hear her talk, and she talked about how literally making sure she put the fact that she was Nigerian in her keywords online was how Chuck Lorre was able to find her, because it was very important for him to find somebody that can authentically speak,
Right.
or to the Nigerian experience. And so we get her now here just completely flourishing.
Oh,
So
how cool.
it's just really cool when you have a little bit of backstory of like how she got from here to there. And I just love her. She's so funny. She makes the girl cry. It's very good.
I love
And
it.
I will say that the mucus introduction felt a lot like Chekhov's mucus to me.
Yeah. You know, and not literally Chekhov, but Chekhov's mucus. Yes.
Oh yeah, no, not Pop. No. Oh God,
Not
there's so
Walter
many
Koenig,
references.
not Pavel Chekhov. Yes.
Not Pavel. I was gonna say Pavlov, but no, Pavel. No, who I love.
Right.
Love him. I just want to
Yeah.
think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Chekhov was brought in season 3.
Two of the original series. Yeah.
To capitalize on the British invasion.
Yeah. You wanted a youth. You wanted somebody with a Beatle haircut. You wanted somebody for the youth audience, and then it just kind of worked that you had a Russian, because we're in the middle of the space race. So now we're making a statement about making friends out of our enemies.
So I just want to like put a red circle around that for anyone who's like, oh, they're trying so hard to like get to like be Gen Alpha, Gen Z.
Yeah.
They did that before.
They did that before, of course.
And it worked.
Of course. And then in Next Gen, you get Worf on the bridge, you get a Klingon on the bridge, and now we've got a Klingon Jem'Hadar hybrid with Thok. So more enemies who have come together to be friends to where
Beautiful.
Right. Yeah, it's good stuff. I do want to talk about that speech momentarily that Chancellor Ake gives. Making the bed. Okay, it's not literal. It's about the small habits, the threads, yes, that hold us together. I'm going to say that tapestry is a sly wink to the Star Trek The Next Generation episode Tapestry, just to kind of, a little wink and a nod to the audience to say,
Well, I think so too. And if you don't know John and I well yet, or you're just catching up with us,
you're going to get too much of us.
Yeah, so that's true. Also, this is John just proving to you how proficient he is in Star Trek. And I'm just like, the way we're putting it is he's proficient, I'm sufficient. I think what was helpful for me is because I've heard make your bed, follow through,
Sure.
It's also hard. I just learned that this past year that I'm ADHD. That's a really hard thing for us to do as routine. Now that being said, when I follow through with something, my life is a little bit better.
Yeah.
So it does make me like shake my head or, oh God, I know. But when Caleb shared that he's never had a bed, that is in a different experience than him just going, oh God, Mom, don't tell me to do that.
Right.
It was sad and really nice. Who's Boothby?
Okay, Boothby, played by Ray Walston, and I think a total of 3 episodes between Voyager and Next Gen. He was the groundskeeper, and he was like Picard's mentor. But he was the botanist, the groundskeeper at Starfleet headquarters. So to see this plaque to memorialize, a beloved character who we saw very little of, but he made an impact for sure. So,
I love that. Yeah, I couldn't place him, and I felt like I will give you a chance to shake your Starfleet wings.
And by the way, so I mentioned the score in the last episode. Now that we get to see the actual opening credits of the show, and they open with the refrain from Ilea's theme from the motion picture, and just one of my all-time favorite Star Trek musical stings. I love it so much. Yeah.
I think you're right. I think the scoring is very smart. It's giving us just enough of this, hey, remember what you love about Star Trek, but here's some new stuff. And it's underscoring and punctuating in such a not 100%, but like a John Williams way. It's helping us feel like we're plodding along. I love the opening sequence, the credit.
Well,
so good.
Thematically, you have the nod to the old, you have this recognizable Star Trek theme, but then you thematically have this thing about planting the seeds that bloom and grow. It's very obvious, it's very on the nose, but it's pretty to look at, and it absolutely sticks with the theme of the show.
So if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, you know that the petals falling is not necessarily the best thing, depending on the setting, because there's a white tree in Numenor, and it can be foreboding. But if you think about it, they're using cherry blossoms. And again, the layout of just the ship and the campus is so gorgeous.
Yeah.
I can believe that's what it looks like in the 32nd century.
Yeah.
But the cherry blossom, I think, is also important because of what it also symbolically stands for us today, which is renewal, rebirth, and also like the fleeting nature of life. So I think it really is well-rounded, a little bit obvious, but totally works.
Yeah, I agree. All right, what else we got?
Yeah, so we're now in, I guess we're calling it Act 1. We get the room assignments. This is where we learn that Caleb has never had a bed, but lo and behold, he's shacking up. That's not fair. Him and Dalem, is that right? Or Darum are sharing a room, which is perfect. It's so obvious. Of course, it's basically like rehashing the AC Slater, Zach, like, what is it? Saved by the Bell dynamic.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
We also get a little bit of the Beta Z exposition, what happened to them post burn. And not that we would have known necessarily when we look at all the current student body, but
Mhm.
there's no Betazoid around.
Yeah.
So we're learning a little bit in their walk and talk, and as Ake is trying to avoid the EMH. I wanted her to say that he shouldn't have installed his like olfactory senses, because
Oh,
because
yeah.
like she was moving away from him like he smelled. I
Right,
didn't quite understand. It was funny, but I didn't quite understand it.
right.
Um, we get what I think we'll see a lot of is Nala and Caleb discussing the mom premise in
Mhm.
her office. Really funny moment when he takes a bite of what is not an apple,
Right. Something
which is
disgusting. Yeah,
which is well, again, apparently it's very fiery,
right.
but disgusting. Very, very funny, which I actually thought was really great. Again, super obvious. You give a teacher an apple, whatever, and he's like asserting authority by "I'm going to eat your apple off your desk," and it's not what he expected.
2 points to that. Okay, so famously, Kirk eating an apple during the Kobayashi Maru. So we've got this kind of like showing off, like, oh, look how casual I am, just biting into this piece of fruit while this stressful thing is going on around me. But also Caleb tossing that fire apple or whatever it was into the bin, and it does the little Star Trek chime. There's a little all right. So CBS, Paramount, Consumer Products, get on that.
Please.
That'll need to
And
happen.
they're doing such a good job with that too, by like kind of changing the bosun theme so
Mhm.
that it does sound like, 23rd century bosun. The doors kind of sound the same. So
Right.
they're kind of folding back in a lot of classic Trek nods that I think Discovery tried to redo.
Yeah.
And we're not here like to bash Discovery because there's so much to love about it, but I think that like what Discovery, this is my impression, tried to go, we're something new, we're brand new, it's
Yeah.
24th century, let's go. And we're just taking a breath here, going, remember the things we loved and like
Right.
the sound cues? I thought it was funny that he made the basket because he also made fun of Darem for making a basket,
Oh, yeah.
and like,
Yeah, with the socks. Yeah.
which was so very funny.
Yeah.
We get to meet the war chancellor, and this makes a lot of sense. And I didn't think about it. I'm typically really good at just riding the ride.
Mhm.
Of course, there had to be someone who was in charge of war
Yeah.
after the burn.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we're already set up for, just with the word war,
Yeah.
he's probably not going to get along with Ake, but we're seeing their different approaches to this contingency of Betazoids coming to Earth to have this delegation, essentially. In between that, we get quantum physics with Jet Reno, Chef's Kiss.
Yes. Yes.
I personally have a hard time understanding entropy in general, especially because in Dune, null entropy is used a lot, so that's
Uh-huh.
been very tough for me, but she is wonderful. She puts him right at the top of the, class, makes him, like, answer some questions he's not ready to answer, and then he gets the mucus spilled all over him.
Jet Reno again. I'm here for more of it. I want more Jet Reno in this series, doing exactly that, and it's a nice way to kind of slide in some educational content. So why not? That's great. By the way, earlier in the act, I love seeing a Bricar. I think they're called that. That's rock talk species from
Yes.
Star Trek Prodigy. Lovely to see one
So
in live action. I know,
Yes,
so
I
cool.
meant to make mention he just passes very quickly. He's very sad, and the
Yeah,
girl's trying to console him. We don't know what they just did. Was it a race? I don't know. He's
yeah,
not confident. It was so sweet.
it was lovely. And these little floaty robot buddies, and not the exocomps, but the robots that kind of
The ones
do.
that clean, or the,
Yeah,
fire extinguisher guys or
right, right.
whatever.
They kind of remind me, if you've been on Star Tours at Disneyland or Disney World, they have little robots that do bits, and they like clean the windows of the Star Cruiser, stuff like that. Kind of remind me of that, but yeah, nice to see them here making
It's a
regular
nice
appearance.
touch, John, because you have to think that at some point we have figured out how to make life easier for us by using technology. And what does that look like? They're there, they're making everything kinda go, but they're not obtrusive. I do love this the touch that Nala knows all their names, though.
Yes, that is nice. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's beautiful leadership in, again, showing not telling way. We get after Caleb is brutally humiliated, unable to recover from it. He shorts out one of the AI
Mhm.
helpers who's like, "You're going in the wrong direction," which is very clever. And he literally ends up on a fence trying to escape while meeting Tamir Sadal, who we don't know at the moment
Yeah.
why she's there or who she is.
Right. But look, if you're a rebel, an outsider, and you just don't fit in, maybe it takes a quirky girl to get to know you, to
Oh,
really
no,
understand
you're gonna
you.
make me hate her. She's like the manic pixie, the
Uh-huh.
dream
Yeah.
girl. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
I think she has a little bit more going for her
I
here.
think so too, but this is where the episode, at least this plot line, started to lose me a bit. But we'll come back to that. I think we'll get back
Yeah,
to that. We
I'm interested to find out why.
Okay.
I think because I think I could agree with you. It might have been one of those things that I was feeling but not understanding.
Mm,
Now,
mm,
what the way I was just looking at this is sort of a meet cute, I guess, is one way you can put it. But the undercurrent of all this is, yes, it is kind of a young adult drama.
mhm.
It's not hitting us over the head with it, but a lot of the tropes are there. Them being roommates with the guy he hates, whether Genesis likes him or not. Sam is totally awkward. But now we have like did you catch that Darim asked Genesis out? Or did we find out about that only when he was about to do the spacewalk?
Oh, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I think that was only with the spacewalk. I thought that
So
that
they
was the
filled in a
flirtation. Yeah.
yeah, but like it sounded like he had already asked her out.
Yeah.
But, like, the way they played that moment worked for me. I was like, "Oh, I'm kinda ship them now too."
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
with the introduction of Tamira, all I thought it was we're getting a, space love square or rectangle, and so I didn't think about it that much, and I
Yeah,
thought it was an interesting way to what we eventually learn is a Betazoid introduction, essentially.
sure. Yeah. Well, and then, yeah, following along with the Beta Z story, yeah, I'll definitely have comments on that. Yeah.
I'm so interested. We do get to what I'm calling Act 2,
Mhm.
the Beta Z and Starfleet delegations. They had made the decision to have the delegations in front of the school in San Francisco, which I think is an interesting choice because what little they know about the Beta Z president is he seemed to have been swayed by the young activists on his planet to at least come to the table and have a discussion. So for the last 100 years, Beta Z has not been involved. They
Mhm.
left Starfleet,
Yeah.
and that is a the union, I should say,
The Federation. Yeah, yeah.
the Federation. I'm like crossing my streams with the Orville.
Adorable.
Big deal to
Yeah.
lose them, like more so than I think we even think about. We just realize it's a big deal, and so we learn that Tamira is the president's daughter,
Mhm. Of course.
and
Of
we
course.
also so interesting. We kind of get again a little bit. We get a little bit of information during the delegations between the admiral and the president of
Mhm.
what they kind of expect of each other and what they want and how they've changed. And it's a really interesting. And I want to ask you a question. The
Yeah.
president is deaf
Yeah.
and he has a speaking aid.
Yeah.
We see the children communicate to him with sign. Starfleet is, I want to say Star Trek. The Star Trek in this iteration is one of the pioneers of casting disabled actors for the disabled roles and lifting them up, right? And so
I'm gonna
it's so
come back to that specifically at the very end, but I'm just gonna be on the same page with you right now and say I love that choice so very much. So yes, I
but I do
absolutely.
have a question.
Yeah, yeah.
Aren't betazoids able to communicate telepathically? So oh, I guess he would have but why are the kids signing with him?
Yeah,
He would have
so
to have something help him communicate with us.
right. Now, that is an interesting question because between Deanna and Luoxana Troy, they had telepathic communication ability. But I always got the impression that the ability of their telepathy versus just their empathic powers, which is really why Deanna was there, just to be able to read the
To feel
emotions
things.
and intent of strangers around them, right? That it kind of fluctuates. Like there are some people who are easier to read than others. some who maybe that telepathy just doesn't work at all. So why the choice to have the kids signing with their father? Not totally sure. Of course, we also had that reveal about Tamira having the
Inhibitor.
the inhibitor, the neurosuppressor
I
or
think it
whatever.
doesn't completely take away her abilities, but it felt like an antidepressant.
It attunes them a bit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, so that's one reason I can see why she's using sign with him.
Mhm.
But I just wanted to flag that. I
Yeah,
thought it was interesting, but still amazing representation.
yeah,
We Tamira goes, you know what? We should learn more about the school. That boy is going to take me on the tour, and it's again we get back into the office with Caleb and Ake and a little bit more negotiation. Oh, maybe this is where he ate the apple. But either way, it's
yeah.
still very this negotiation of power between them is he's basically asking if he can go on a date. Well, it's weird actually. She's setting him up.
Yeah, right, right.
It's very funny. These
Yeah.
dynamics are very funny.
I feel like the reveal was kind of obvious,
That
like
she was the
y
daughter.
yeah, like, she's so quirky, she's so special. Of course, she's the president's daughter, but
Of
anyway.
course she is.
Yeah.
Well, and she is so earnestly into him,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
like, there's, like, no cool between these kids,
Yeah.
which I found to be the least believable thing about young romance. I never let a boy know that I had feelings for him. You're never
Right.
supposed to. But they're on the tour, it's very cute. They get to know each other. We see the quad, that's where we get the reveal that it was James T. Kirk Pavilion, is that correct?
Right,
Uh
right, right.
who was the guy who had that wing that they were making fun of?
Turner.
Turner.
Yeah.
That
I
is
don't know who
very,
that is,
very funny.
but yeah.
We don't know. Obviously, Caleb doesn't know, but he makes a whole mythology thing. Did you
Right.
catch the Mugatu banner?
No, so I noticed that the banners were changing, which I thought was
Yes.
a great effect, but there was a Mugatu in it.
It was a Mugatu. So I think it was like
Okay.
either like there was another one I can't remember, but it was like their hockey team or something.
Nice.
And they were Mugatus. It was very cute.
Nice. Nice.
In the I guess negotiations between Caleb and Ake, she offers him a little bit more authorized behind the scenes Starfleet access so that
Mhm.
he can actually potentially find Goja 5, which is what Newsbraka told Caleb when they were fighting is where his mother
Right,
is. Kind of like dangled a carrot in front of Caleb
right.
about it.
Space Carrot. Yeah,
Space carrot.
yeah,
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 you're right.
yeah.
I can't improve that. It was very good. So Goja 5 is not showing up on any of the cartography for Starfleet. And because Tamira is this high access person, they go to the
Yeah.
stellar cartography room, and she gives him access to Beta Zed's
Uh-huh.
stellar cartography,
Yeah.
which I thought was interesting that the computer in Starfleet was able just to one-to-one handle it.
Right, in no
Like,
time.
"Oh, sure, we'll upload all this. We haven't seen you guys in 100 years, but we can make it work."
Sure.
But Goja 5 does exist,
Yeah,
and what we possibly think is that it's being shielded by the Beta Z
yeah,
psych wall,
yeah,
essentially.
yeah, exactly.
So I this is where, like, the interpersonal issues between Tamir start to boil. I didn't know that. I wasn't picking up on this, but we'll get to that in a second. Delegations round 2, we learn a little bit more about the outside threats that aren't just Noose, right? What is
Mhm.
the villain? What is they keep on I wanna say Venare, which sounds like
Yeah,
venereal
it starts
to
with a
me.
V. I'll have to get back to you. Yeah, because I'm gonna make I will totally say the wrong thing.
We have to
Venarians,
we have to worry about venereal in space and at Starfleet Academy is
the
all I'm
venereal
saying.
aliens, yes.
Yes, but basically we kind of get a couple more space carrots about
Yeah,
what's actually out there and new villains,
right.
and Beta Zed's probably rightfully scared.
Yeah, there's some vulnerability there, yeah.
And it is kind of maybe a current social commentary, but I would say it didn't feel like I was beat over the head about the importance of democracy and not having authoritarian power,
Right.
which is kind of what Sadar was asking for a little bit. Did you get that impression?
Yes. Yeah, yeah, there are definitely some concerns there, and look, for all the time that we can spend on the blossoming well, they're not teens, they're young adults, a blossoming
I know,
young
but
adult
yeah.
romance, right? Um, I love that we're spending so much time about the military and social and political vulnerabilities and needs of Beta Z versus the Federation. I will take you way back to 2009 when the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie came out, and The Onion did this news piece, right? Of course, parody news,
No,
but
understood. Yeah.
so The Onion ran this headline: Trekkies bash the new Star Trek film as fun, watchable. And one of the fans in there was complaining, like, where was all the heavy-handed messaging, and why don't we just get hours of people at a negotiating table talking about politics? And I'm like, we're getting that here, and I love it.
It's
Because
it's used in such a believable way, and
yes,
that's why I would argue that we aren't really dealing with a young adult melodrama,
yeah,
because we are getting actual adults navigating this as well. There's
yeah,
so many good promises that I think this show is making, and that's one of them right there. Actual Star Trek exposition, but in a way Star Trek should give it to us.
yeah,
I I don't want to gloss over the very gorgeous moment between Caleb and Tamira, where he basically, it's probably an underwater observation,
yeah,
because I think you see
yeah.
one of the uh Golden Gates
You're like,
bridges,
oh,
uh
like one of the pillars, one of the, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, but it's something there in
underwater.
the bay. Yeah, yeah, like a
So
cetacean
you
ops situation. Yeah,
kinda, yeah,
yeah.
and you see the beautiful humpback whales, and she knows it's pregnant, and they kind of, I think it's where we learn that she has the inhibitor, and
We
we
learned
also
that
have
later,
to,
but
oh, we learn it
the
later.
nice Star Trek 4 throwback to the humpback whales and Spock knowing that Gracie was pregnant. So
So beautiful.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. It was not lost on me that the humpback whales are there because of our guys, and
right.
she knows, it's so beautiful, and we learn that she has a gem, and I wonder if all the kids are gonna get gems implanted in their teeth now.
It suits her. It
It
looks
does suit
nice.
her,
It does.
for sure. Alright, then we get to the mixer with opera.
Uh-huh.
Of course, we gotta get Robert Picardo singing. I don't know what race the woman is that's singing with him.
Oh, who I think we first saw in one of the JJ films. So,
Oh, how
yeah, if
cool.
I'm not mistaken. Yeah, yeah.
I love that. Well,
Yeah.
the song was completely annoying, but it was wonderful. Pa 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 pa.
Ba, ba, ba,
Uh,
ba.
but basically, it's a mixer of
Yeah,
champagne and hormones, and you just get a glimpse of how everyone is experiencing what is tense negotiations, but everyone's attempt to be civil, and it's
right.
very funny. Um, the kids got in trouble, by the way, at the humpback whale exposition scene.
As one
Like,
does.
they
Yeah.
got caught.
Uh-huh.
They couldn't hump. I'm sorry.
Good call.
Oh, this reminds me too that Genesis says to Caleb early on, you don't want to hook up with someone within the first 6 months, because that's how you learn who's crazy. So
Right.
is that a slight hint to us that Tamir is crazy?
Oh, okay. Well, maybe,
They
maybe.
haven't hooked up yet,
No,
really,
no.
but he's not heeding the advice. Or was
Yeah,
Genesis just trying to put him on the back burner? A
yeah.
couple things happen in there. Uh, they go to the quad, and then they get mad at each other. That I'm talking
Oh.
about. We don't need to ship them because it's gonna happen. There's no will they, won't they tension. They're just mad. They're arguing like they've been dating for 6 months in this quad
They've
scene.
known each other for minutes combined.
Minutes.
Minutes. Yes.
I guess this is probably why we keep on wanna refer to them as teens, because their hormones are so high here,
Yeah.
and I do ascribe to the scientific fact that our brain's not done processing until we're
Mhm.
25.
Yeah.
But, we're not that dumb. We're not that hormonally driven.
It was such a weird, like, you lied to me by omission. Well, you did too. Like,
Also, why did he have to tell her anything?
yeah.
And this might be my most scathing review,
Okay.
is because we're dealing with a new crop of actors from Gen Z. I am
Mhm.
not Gen Z. I remember what it was like to be the cool, hot generation, and these people are cool and hot,
Yeah.
but they don't enunciate,
Yeah.
and their acting skills are a little rough around the
In a
edges.
in a scene like that, it's rough. Yeah.
Well, and that's what I mean is I don't get the subtext earlier on with Caleb that
Mhm.
he's trying to keep something from her, but also she's hot.
Oh, right.
Like, I get to use her, and so I'm not really dinging them on acting ability because they're doing the darndest, and there's a lot of potential here. But I do ding them on enunciation. I cannot watch this series without captions. Pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish they worked in the screeners. Yeah.
Yep, I was trying not to say that. I wish they did too. I
Yeah.
had to rewind a couple times. Anyway, they get mad at each other, and tensions are so high, and Nala and the president's face off in round 3 of the negotiations. Oh, no, at the mixer,
Oh, yeah.
and Nala
Yeah.
basically, like, with everything but a physical push, gets the war counselor out of the way to, like, make her claim and accuse the president of really being un-Beta Z-like,
Yes. Yeah. And then
which
he's
is
like,
interesting.
don't tell me about my culture. Mhm.
Which I actually agree
Yeah.
with him here,
Sure. I do too.
but I like that she's challenging him, but I don't I think that I question in a Starfleet world, do people have to be what we know them to be based off of their
Mm.
species?
Yeah. Well, it's part of the problem when you end up with the monoculture, but yeah.
Which is interesting, but we also learn how scary the burn was for the Beta Z,
Mhm.
essentially, and he cuts off negotiations, and I think the Admiral and Ake acknowledged that no matter what was said in that moment, he was looking for an opportunity to say this isn't gonna work,
100%. Yeah.
which is interesting, I
Yeah.
think. How long do you think Caleb and Darem have been in uh, their dorm together?
Again, minutes.
Minutes.
Actual time that they spend in the dorm room together is
It's not even a
nothing.
full day. Maybe they've been there for 2 days
Yeah. But
since.
yeah, I think they've occupied it for 2 days. How much time have they spent face to face in the
Oh,
same room? Not
well,
much.
no, so my question was,
Yeah.
how many actual days have they been sleeping and living in that room
Oh,
together?
yeah, it's been a few days. Yeah.
Okay, is that long enough for it to smell? Like,
Yeah,
how
I think so. I
it's a
think
mess,
so.
there's socks and shoes everywhere.
Yeah.
It's classic teen, and,
Yeah.
Nala visits Caleb. She's just mad. She's like, she's not mad, she's disappointed
It's your
in
right.
in him. You know, because he
Right.
can't the fight, she didn't do well. He knows that, like, she knows that he probably likes her. Like, she's just conflicted, and she really doesn't have anything to get actively mad at him for, because he really didn't do 100% anything wrong
No.
that much. Would you?
No, not at all.
And I love the Deus Ex Machina where she says one thing and his brain turns on. He's like, "That's the solution."
Uh-huh. Have to have that. Yep.
It works.
Yeah.
It clicked for him. Caleb rom-com runs after Tamira
Oh dear, oh dear.
and apologizes.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know what we're apologizing for here.
Don't either.
Not divulging your entire childhood drama?
Yeah.
I don't, but it works. Like, again, it for me, it's mirroring the theme, which I think is really wonderful. Acknowledging your mistakes, acknowledging maybe even that you just hurt somebody's feelings, right? And doing your best to make it right.
If she could be upset so quickly out of something so minor, she could be apologized out of it so quickly. Maybe that's the thing.
Maybe that is the thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, when you like a boy and you're 21 and
Yeah.
you've never been outside the planet and he comes running after you,
It's
it's
a big deal. Yeah.
it's over. He had her at hello.
Yeah.
Okay, it
Yeah.
was over. So anyway, whatever Caleb says works enough to get them to delegations round 3. We have an am Spartacus moment
Beautiful.
where it's very cute. The kids they're standing for a new future. A lot of what this series is promising to give us is, hey, we love Starfleet. Let's make sure we embody what Starfleet's all about.
Yeah.
And Beta Z is back in.
Yeah.
Love it. So, as the episode wraps up, the mom isn't on Goja 5, which is upsetting,
Mhm.
but the manifest was found.
We
Ake
have a
found her
lead.
manifest. We
Yeah.
do have a lead. I think it's insane how much comms access she's giving him.
But again, she says, like, this is only up to what I have. So what I have, so she's not breaking rules. She's
Does
just
she
like,
not have incredible comms access,
yeah,
though?
well, somebody somewhere outranks even Chancellor Ake. Yeah.
It's it's he's
So,
gonna know things that he has no business knowing. That's, like, top secret communications.
yeah, well, that's true. Yeah.
It's just kinda wild. She just is like, I understand. He's you can tell he's a good kid at heart. That is wild permissions
He
is all.
he needs supervision. And look, speaking of people who outrank Nala Ake, I'm so glad that we have a lot of Admiral Vance because I felt we
Yeah.
didn't get enough of him in Discovery. I think Oded Fair is terrific. He's got great presence. So I love this dynamic of Ake just being a little, shoot from the hip and speaks her mind. And then Vance is there to sort of rein that in, but he also respects it. He also knows, like, well, that's why I put you in this position.
He kicks us off with the theme that, again, is important to me. He apologizes to her
Hmm.
when he asks her to come back. So he knows he can't be the person that does it, but he's a smart enough leader to employ the people that can get the stuff done in using tactics he really may not be able to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
To wrap up the whole episode, the Betazoid brother moves in, and it's really broy, and it's
Yeah.
very funny, and it's so testosterone ripe, and it works for me. And they make the bed, and not just does Caleb go to make the bed, they help him.
They help him. It's great. Okay, now look, I hated that. Well, I didn't hate the scene, but I hated the change in our Beta Z brother when we encounter him in that room. But then I watched that scene again, and I was like, well, no, of course. He acts one way in front of his father, the president. You take him out of that, and he's trying to fit right in, also telepathically, empathically, with these very broy college guys. Yeah, that's perfect. That's
He's
exact
never been with
yeah,
other people that aren't Betazoids, right?
exactly. So
And I couldn't get a read on him, John, because, like, when he breaks off from the dad in the mixer the first time, I'm like, "Is he gonna go send a message to Nusbraka?" Like, I don't you kinda get some, like, visual cues, like, is he bad or do we trust him? But then when he, like, ushers his sister to go flirt with him,
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
when he, like, tries
Chaos
to
boy. Yeah,
chaos boy,
yeah,
spontaneous boy. He's cute. He's
yeah,
just a boy too, and it's it's so charming. It totally works for me.
yeah.
I will say, just kind of going back to the scene where Caleb and Nala talk about, like, their failures, both in love and in
Mhm.
delegations. I think it was really important that Nala acknowledges that Caleb is exceptional,
Yeah, yeah. Great scene.
because if
Yeah.
if he didn't, if she didn't, this is my meta opinion.
Mhm.
I was already going, "How is this kid so brilliant?"
Yeah.
And we need to have the acknowledgement that there's something else extra here. He's just a little extra special, because also, if this was a woman, the internet would be calling her a Mary Sue
Mhm.
immediately. How's she
Yeah.
able to hack the ship, and does she know about the matter? So he's very brilliant, and she's so right, and she says exactly what you say. Imagine what this is gonna be like when you know about Starfleet and when you go to school. How
Right.
brilliant you can be.
Right, right. So in that act, there was a moment that you pointed out where, of course, Caleb does the rom-com run and he apologizes to Mira. No, you got to get your dad back to the negotiating table. And I just, I felt to myself, can we please not do this? But then that is followed up with such a very powerful scene about the Federation making this effort, mending fences, literally meeting the Betazoids where they are by building their new seat of power on Beta Z. I just thought, like, this is Star Trek writ large. I thought it was such a great scene. And I'm here to tell you, I'm going to keep coming back to Anthony Natali, the actor who played Sidal, President Sidal. That moment where he removes the interpretive tech and he says yes out loud to the crowd there. I know the show is manipulating me, and it worked so hard. It worked. I thought that was such a powerful moment. Bravo. Yeah, like you could see it coming and it landed perfectly. Yeah.
And this is where I know that I may be not like the most obvious watcher. I didn't see it coming, and I was like, "Oh my god, he has walls, and he took down his walls."
He did.
And like it's perfect. It's so obvious
Yeah.
looking back on it, and
Yeah.
it's so wonderful.
So good. That last moment in Ake's quarters when Caleb asks about the flight manifest, is that a guilt Band-Aid? And I wondered, is Band-Aid still a brand name in the 32nd century? Because Band-Aid is a brand name. By the way, Band-Aid, if you want to sponsor this show, I just said your name 3 times.
3 times. Well, or is it that thing where Xeroxing means to copy
Yeah,
or
well, right.
Kleenex means tissue, and
Yeah,
it's carried on that long that
1,000
Band-Aid
years. It is.
may not could
Yeah.
why would a Band-Aid even exist in that
I
century
know, you use a
when you just go
thermal regenerator or a dermal regenerator, and you're good to go. Yeah.
Band-Aid is the proprietor of those
They're the ones they make all the dermal regenerators.
100%. Now it's all full circle. But yeah, that's like something that kind of probably should have gotten through one more pass, unless Band-Aid's actually paying them.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
This is a longer episode just because we had 2 episodes to talk about. So we
Yes.
wanna thank you guys for sticking with us while we're trying to clamor through 2 pretty, like, full episodes. But let's get our last blush thoughts about these 2 episodes and what we're looking forward to
Yeah.
in episode 3.
So look, I'll tell you with this second episode with beta test, and it also applies to the previous episode. I think canon-wise, with the exception of the Wall of Fame, because that is just a big physical prop in there, right? I'm much happier with how this series so far is handling references than I was with Discovery. Because the nods feel a little more organic. They're less like interruptions. They just become texture within the show. So I think stuff like that is handled well. Again, just inspired to have Anthony Natale play President Sadal. There is such a poetry to having a character from a species that is known for empathic communication being portrayed through an atypical form of language for us. It is the most resonant use of this idea since the Next Gen episode Loud as a Whisper, when we had Riva, again, deaf in real life and being represented by a chorus of speakers around him.
Wow.
And as a character, Sadal has all the gravitas that you need, that you want from that role. And in this case, the communication barrier heightens the drama. It doesn't hurt it at all. Just
When he
chef's
says, "I'm
kiss.
reading your lips, but your eyes say something
Ah,
different." Poetry.
fantastic. Just fantastic. The other thing that I'll say that I think worked in the first 2 episodes, and I think maybe even worked a little better in the second episode, I criticize Star Trek a lot for its poor use of humor. It relies on jokes very often. This time around, whether it's, I don't know if it's Tawny Newsom's influence on
Right.
the scripts or what, but the comedy, for the most part, comes from character and not contrivance. So the jokes are woven into the fabric of the show instead of just stopping dead to tell the joke. And this feels so refreshing.
Yeah.
Um, but okay, all that said, the thing that I will come back to and my concern from episode 2, which is my concern for the rest of the series, is that I was so much more engaged with the political storyline than the personal drama. So look, I like Caleb, I like Tarima, but the meet cute, the quickly accelerated romance, the falling out, the quick resolution, it was so made for TV. And even with whatever performances you're going to get out of them, the beats are right out of a young adult novel. And I know that those moments will be part of the DNA of this series, but I hope they don't overshadow the really strong work that is happening elsewhere so far in these 2 episodes, because it was Star Trek. It was just so Star Trek to deal with these bigger issues. We're just going to have to navigate all the other stuff too.
I think they did strike a better balance than what I initially thought after they released the 90210 flyer.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like
Absolutely.
we are not getting only young adult novel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would argue that we're getting about 30% of it, and everything else is interpersonal, and it could be whether it's an adult experiencing that or a young adult. And for me, the balance works, but I'm with you that I don't want to solely have that in this series. It's really interesting because the way I've always looked at Trek in the Kurtzman era is, let's try this demographic. Let's try that demographic. Let's try a series
Yeah.
for that demographic. I do think they have the potential here, and let's see if they carry through, to have a Star Trek that works for a couple demographics.
Yeah. Yeah.
It may just.
I was shocked at the amount of Star Trek lore that was fit into these first two episodes that really felt like home, that really felt comfortable. And even though Vance is a character, and Jet Reno for that matter, that we got from Discovery, and I felt less connected in some ways to Discovery, it felt like home seeing them here. And the
Yeah.
dynamics just worked out really well. Standout moments for you?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna say either Laura Thok is like the price of entry for me. I
Awesome.
could just watch the whole series with her. She's so wonderful.
Yeah.
But I also was really impressed overall with the stakes that Noose attacking the Athena gave us. I thought
Yeah.
it's hard to have a good villain in Star Trek, and many have come, many have failed, which is why we keep on going to the Borg well, right? I think we have a potential of having a real threat here, and that's exciting to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if you're going to have a show that will have such an emphasis on the YA audience and the YA plot lines, you also have to have the adults in the room to help bring in and keep the old guard fans like myself. And you've got it with Paul Giamatti. You've got it with Holly Hunter. You got it with
Yeah.
Oded Fair. You got it
Yeah.
with Tig Notaro. You got it with Bob Picardo. That's all there. So that balance so far is working pretty well. Maybe
Yeah.
not perfectly, but pretty well. Open question going forward.
Oh, well, did you have a standout moment, or was that it? That is
No, my standout moment was honestly, it was the President Sadal, those negotiations. Again, the most boring thing you can put on screen, political negotiations, and yet they heightened the drama. They made it personal. They made it work. I was sold. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my open question is more esoteric as opposed to, oh, I can't wait to follow this storyline. Although I do want to know what happens once we get the mom out of our foreground, like when we
Mhm.
find her, what happens there, and is there still going to be an interesting story? Uh, but can this show convince me that serialized Trek is good Trek?
Mm.
It's I have I think it's one of the more difficult things that a lot of previous series are trying to sell me on. I think this is really not divulging too far from that. So we'll see if they're close. I'm already in. Can they stay the course?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good thing to ask. My question is going to be about balance. Can they find the right way to tell these stories that doesn't feel like you're shutting out part of the audience? So if we spend a lot of time on the YA stuff, you're going to lose part of the audience. If you spend too much time on the bigger political picture, you're also going to lose part of the audience. But so far, we've had pretty decent balance here, and I like I like the big picture stuff we're exploring here. So I hope that we can stick the landing with that.
I think overall, you and I, if we're gonna put like a nice ribbon around what we were saying, I think we're pleasantly surprised with just how engaging this series has proven to be in 2 episodes.
Well, and just how Star Trek it is, and that's the thing, because you and I both were exposed to all of the online immediate hot take response to so much as a poster. And believe me,
Right.
I started getting emails and private messages from, oh my God, can you believe this? But my job here is to watch it and to try to watch it and frame it into a kind of context. And Jessica, I know that we've run long today. We had 2 episodes to talk about instead of just one, but if you'll forgive me,
Sure.
if you'll indulge me and maybe slide the soapbox over here, I thank you, thank you. I have a final thought. I have a final comment that hopefully will drive people to leave their comments, but also to join us on Monday nights and give us some feedback. But I want you to think about this as you think about watching all of Star Trek Academy. We've only gotten through these
Okay.
2 episodes, but the thing that really struck me watching really the first 2 episodes, especially in light of this online reaction to Starfleet Academy, and that was that immediate rejection. Oh, it's 90210 in space. It's Dawson's Trek. What did you call it? The OC in space, or
Well, I just said the OC, but that's
yeah,
right. Yes.
yeah. So that was the reaction right away. And look, I'm there with you because I think that skepticism is totally fair
And earned based
and
off of some
earned.
of the stuff.
Yeah, look,
Like,
a marketing team decided to do that. All right.
but I guess what I mean is this show doesn't exist in a vacuum because of the series that have come before it also.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, but go with me here because I think that there is something quietly subversive going on that we need to keep our eyes on, you and me and the rest of our audience at large. So, the very existence of this show seems to acknowledge this long-standing perception that Starfleet, I'm going to be honest with you, is kind of square. It's kind of rigid. It's a bit out of touch. Okay. Caleb has to get a haircut,
Mhm.
has to wear a uniform. He has to play by the rules that he didn't make inside an institution that claims high ideals while at the same time enforcing a lot of structure.
Yeah.
To be blunt, there's a lot of the man baked into Starfleet.
Yeah, they're accepting of the big brother state in a
Yeah.
way for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
But honestly, if you're being really honest here, you can say the same thing about Star Trek itself. Okay.
interesting.
Star Trek was born in the 60s. It comes from this Kennedy era space program, Cold War, full of optimism, filtered through this very Western, very baby boomer, very democratic worldview. It is idealistic, it is sincere, and it is often just squeaky clean. And without
Mm,
context, that can and will feel very dated or even hokey to a modern audience. All
yeah,
right.
sure.
So along comes Starfleet Academy. And this show has 2 jobs. One of those jobs is practical. You have to find a new audience and you have to keep them watching long enough for the show to survive on a streaming platform, right? But the other job is way more interesting. It has to re-justify Star Trek's core ideas for today. And that is where Caleb becomes super important because he is us. Or
Wow.
right, at the very least, he is the proxy. He's the stand-in for the viewer who looks at all of this and goes, "This is kind of corny. This doesn't speak my language." All right. So the show's gamble is that if you stick around, you might discover that there is still real, unironic value in all of this,
Wow.
in diversity and curiosity and cooperation, solving problems for the benefit of everyone, not just the person at the top. These are kind of radical ideas right now. So, if Starfleet Academy can stay honest about that tension, questioning the institution while still believing in the ideals, then I think this show has a real chance to earn its place in the franchise. And that is what we want to hear from you. So, is this just Star Trek trying to dress young, or is this Star Trek doing what it has always done, which is finding a way to translate its values for a new generation? So, everybody, come argue that out with us Monday night. All right.
I love that, John. And yeah, I think my plea would be do not judge this book by its cover.
No,
I
or
think,
its poster.
yeah, poster. Like John said, we are going to be chatting about this live on Mondays, live on our Patreon for free, but you just have to join as a free member. But you can call in on Zoom and talk to us and let us know. Until then, John, episode 3 is right around the
I
corner.
can't wait to do this again. What
Wow.
fun.
Oh God, we didn't even talk about Noose Braca doing the totally sarcastic "Live long and prosper" against the window. But anyway,
Sarcastic, live long and
so
prosper.
sarcastic, live long and prosper, and like totally, dude.
Yeah. So good. All right. Monday night, patreon.com/mission log, 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. We will be there. We cannot wait to hash all of this out with all of you. For everybody who stuck around to listen to this, our immediate quick take mission log reactor, we'll be back again. If you join Patreon, even if you pony up $1, you're going to get these videos early. You will get them ASAP on Thursday morning, so you can watch along with your viewing of Star Trek Starfleet Academy. So we'll see you there, right? Patreon.com/mission log. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, John.
Sarcastic Vulcan.
I'm so mad.